There is beauty in the simplicity of life. Deep and meaningful experiences can be found in the simple, everyday moments of life, not in complicated or extravagant pursuits. When you focus on what is important, real and straightforward, you'll discover a greater appreciation for life's beauty. The beauty of living simplistically provides emotional and mental well-being. It's about simplifying or decluttering your life, physically and mentally, by removing unnecessary stress, worry, and anxiety from your life. From a spiritual perspective, we are guided to simplify our lives, to find contentment, to focus on what truly matters, and to not make monetary wealth our ultimate goal in life at the expense of happiness. Yes, it's important to be able to provide for ourselves so that we are not a burden on society, to be financially independent, but there's more to life than just being financially wealthy. Nobody intentionally wants a complicated life, but if you feel your life is that way, then it's up to you to change it. Make choices to change your situation for the better, to have peace, calmness and tranquility of body, mind, soul and spirit. So if you wish to find out more about how to simplify your life, then keep watching. There is beauty in the simplicity of life refers to appreciating the elegance and value found in uncomplicated experiences and things. It's about recognizing the beauty in the ordinary, finding joy in the subtle aspects of life, and valuing the essentials over unnecessary complications. Simplicity is beautiful because it allows us to see things more clearly without all the distractions. When we simplify our lives, we often find ourselves becoming more authentic and truer to ourselves. A simpler life can lead to a greater sense of peace, calm, and well-being. This involves slowing down, being present, and finding contentment in what already exists. Beauty in simplicity isn't about a lack of ambition or goals. Rather, it's about focusing on what truly matters and finding joy in the simple things. This could mean appreciating a quiet sunrise or sunset, the connection in a genuinely shared smile, or the beauty of a single flower. It's about decluttering not just physical spaces, but also the mind and relationships, creating space for what truly matters, focusing on the core aspects of life that bring meaning, fulfilment, and happiness. This could involve simplifying routines, re-evaluating priorities, and consciously choosing to prioritize experiences over material possessions. Simplicity encourages a more conscious and intentional way of living, prompting reflection on personal values and goals. It allows a deeper connection with oneself and a more meaningful engagement with others and the world around us. Instead of constantly striving for more, simplicity invites us to find contentment in what we already have, both materially and emotionally, rather than chasing material possessions or external validation. It's about appreciating the present moment and finding joy in the everyday, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Some other examples of simplicity in action include appreciating appreciating a simple meal, enjoying a walk in nature, having an unpretentious, heartfelt conversation, or simply taking a moment to breathe and to be present. Confucius said, "Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it." Beauty is all around us. Beauty exists in all things, but not everyone is capable of recognizing it or appreciating it. Our ability to see beauty is not automatic. It requires a certain mindset, awareness, and willingness to look beyond the surface. By shifting our focus and looking deeper, we can find beauty in places we might not have expected, even in difficult or challenging situations. It's about training one's eyes to notice the beauty in the mundane, the ordinary, the flawed, or the unpleasant, and in the unexpected. Due to the complexity and busyness of life, we rarely or don't have time to stop and smell the roses along the way. To stop and smell the roses, metaphorically, is to slow down and appreciate the beauty of the simple pleasures in life. It's a reminder to take a break from a busy or stressful schedule and to focus on living in the present moment, finding joy in the small details, rather than getting caught up in stress and worry. The phrase is a reminder to pause and appreciate the beauty and blessings around us, rather than rushing through life. From a psychological perspective, there is beauty in the simplicity of life. Emphasizes how reducing complexity in our lives can lead to increased well-being, clarity, and fulfilment. By embracing simplicity, individuals can create space for what truly matters, fostering a sense of peace, focus, and appreciation for the simple joys in life. This approach can positively impact mental health, relationships, and even financial stability. The key aspects of the psychological perspective on simplicity are the reduction of stress and anxiety. A cluttered environment, both physically and mentally, can contribute to feelings of being overwhelmed and stressed. Simplifying life by decluttering spaces and streamlining routines can create a sense of calm and control, reduce anxiety, and promote mental clarity. Enhanced focus and productivity. By eliminating distractions and prioritizing essential tasks, individuals can improve their ability to concentrate and be more productive. This focused approach allows for deeper engagement with activities and a greater sense of accomplishment. Increased appreciation for the present moment. Simplicity encourages mindfulness and a greater awareness of the present moment. By focusing on the simple joys and experiences of daily life, individuals can cultivate gratitude and find happiness in the everyday. Stronger relationships. A simpler lifestyle often involves spending more quality time with loved ones and engaging in meaningful interactions. This can lead to stronger, more fulfilling relationships and a greater sense of connection with others. Financial well-being. By living within one's means and prioritizing needs over wants, individuals can achieve greater financial stability and freedom. This can reduce financial stress and provide a sense of security, allowing for more conscious choices in life. Personal growth and self-discovery. The pursuit of simplicity is a journey of self-reflection and personal growth. It encourages individuals to question their choices and align their actions with their core values. This process can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and a more authentic way of living. Essentially, the psychological perspective on simplicity suggests that by intentionally reducing the complexity in our lives, we can create space for what truly matters, leading to a more fulfilling, meaningful, and joyful existence. From a spiritual perspective, the Holy Bible speaks about the value and beauty found in a life of simplicity, contentment, and focusing on what truly matters. Verses 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 6 to 8, Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, Matthew chapter 6 verses 26 to 27, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5, Philippians chapter 4 verse 11 to 12, and Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 6 emphasize the importance of contentment with basic needs and finding joy in what we have, rather than constantly seeking more. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verses 6 to 8, the Holy Bible reads, "But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that." Verse 6 is saying that true spiritual wealth is found in a godly life, lived with contentment, not in material possessions. The focus should be on godliness. Godliness, or living a godly life, is conforming to the character of God in your thoughts, feelings, desires, and actions. Verse 7 reminds us that we came into this world with nothing and will leave with nothing, highlighting the futility of pursuing earthly riches as ultimate goals, because material wealth is of a fleeting nature, temporary. Verse 8 gives us a practical example that having basic necessities should be enough to satisfy us, and focusing on these should be a priority rather than pursuing wealth. It's about being satisfied with what one has in God's provision. If you are in genuine need though, God is a loving and giving God. As per Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, in the Holy Bible, Jesus said, "But seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." When you focus on God, he will ensure that other necessary provisions are also met. Through the genuine intention of prayer, God will provide. Yes, it might require patience. However, God knows how urgent your request is. God is never late. He is always on time. The love you have for God produces the will he has in your life. In other words, love God and allow him to be a part of your everyday life through prayer, living a godly life, and your genuine needs will be met in his divine timing. The verse Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 in the Holy Bible says, "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, 'Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you.'" This is a message of contentment and trusting in God's faithfulness. It encourages believers to live without the love of money, warning against the dangers of greed and materialism, and instead find satisfaction in God's promises that He shall never leave you or forsake you. It's highlighting God's constant presence and provision, offering His word and security to those who trust Him as a constant source of comfort and strength. Jesus also said in Matthew chapter 6 verses 26 to 27, the Holy Bible, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" Jesus is telling us to trust God for provision and not be consumed by worry about basic needs like food and clothing. He used the examples of the birds that do not sow or reap, yet are fed by God, to illustrate to humans as being more valuable than the birds and to have greater confidence in God's care. Also, worry is ultimately futile and cannot add any time to one's life by doing so. In essence, prioritize God's kingdom and righteousness, trusting that He will provide for your needs, just as He provides for the birds. Worry in verse 27 is described as a lack of faith and a distraction from what truly matters, which is seeking God's will. There isn't anything wrong with being wealthy, but it shouldn't be your ultimate goal in life, and be ignorant towards God, yourself, and others. Wealth earned through integrity and with the intention to contribute towards society in some way is highly commendable because it is helping others. By helping others, you are helping God, doing God's work, in providing to other people. It's a form of worship and a way to express gratitude for God's grace. The Apostle Paul says in Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 to 12, the Holy Bible, "I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." The Apostle Paul speaks about his contentment regardless of his circumstances, whether this was in abundance or in need, having experienced both plenty and poverty. Verse 11 is saying that he is not complaining about his situation, but rather stating that he has learned to be content in any circumstance. Verse 12 describes his experience in both extremes of life and his ability to maintain contentment in either situation. His contentment wasn't based on his external situation, but on an inner, learned ability to be satisfied in Christ. True contentment isn't found in external circumstances, but is a learned virtue that comes from an inner peace and satisfaction found in Lord Jesus Christ. It's a mindset that can be developed, allowing one to find joy and peace, regardless of whether one is well-fed or hungry, rich or poor. Another passage, Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 6 in the Holy Bible says, Better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. This means a small amount of something like food or possessions that is enough to sustain you, enjoyed peacefully and contently, rather than acquiring a larger amount that is gained through toil and effort is futile, like chasing after the wind. In other words, finding contentment and peace in what you have, rather than being driven by endless ambition and striving for more, can lead to exhaustion and a sense of emptiness. It highlights the peace and value of a simple, tranquil life over one filled with striving and endless pursuits. True wealth lies not in material possessions, but in a peaceful and contented heart. The verses that most directly speak to living a quiet life are 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 11 to 12, the Holy Bible, and states, "And to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, you should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody." These verses are suggesting that a virtuous life includes a focus on personal responsibilities, diligence in work, and a peaceful demeanour. This doesn't mean being passive or withdrawn, but rather striving for a life free from unnecessary drama and conflict. It emphasises focusing on personal growth and responsibilities. These verses also highlight the importance of avoiding gossip, unnecessary involvement in others' affairs, and focusing on one's own walk with God. It also stresses the value of diligence and self-sufficiency. A quiet life can be one of productive labour, providing for oneself by living a life that is both personally fulfilling and beneficial to others, contributing to society, not being a burden on society. So how did I simplify my existence and turn my life around? After a gut-wrenching heartbreak and betrayal of being placed in a third-party relationship without my knowledge and ending the relationship, I needed to find myself again, to simplify my life, remove all people, places and things that were not serving my highest good, and change it for the better. I wasn't going to allow anyone to mistreat and or disrespect me again. I found solace in God, helping me to get through this dark and difficult time. My faith and love for God grew every day. He gave me the comfort I needed, the strength to heal my broken heart, and to find contentment once more. The only people left in my life are my closest family and God, and I'm content. I've learned I can manage life on my own, to make decisions that are best for me and not seek validation from other people. Unfortunately, all people don't have your best interests at heart. I learned a valuable lesson to love myself and not to be taken for granted. You give your heart and soul to someone, loving and helping them in any way you can, and are treated with contempt. You are the one who truly knows what's best for you. I had to overcome a bout of depression and a lingering pattern of negative thinking that affected my motivation and my self-esteem. I kept myself busy catching up with chores around the house, researched self-help information, prayed on a daily basis, repenting of all my sins, reading the Holy Bible to learn about God, to love Him, to love myself and others, to learn compassion for the ones who did me wrong, and to live a godly life. I needed to declutter my mind, to have compassion and forgive the people who hurt me because of their jealousy and greed. Unbeknownst to me, my ex-partner and his other partner were in competition with me, doing witchcraft or other practitioners doing so, and they wanted to take everything from me, wanting to leave me totally destitute and unalived so they could benefit from it all. I am totally independent, make my own informed decisions, and look forward to life again, knowing that God's presence is always with me. God is my provider, my healer, my protector, and my helper. He coaxed me back to Him and gave me a second chance at life. I am forever thankful and grateful. No matter what I face in life, I am content because I know that the Lord is with me and look forward to life once again. If you wish to know about my story, please go to Sincerely from the Heart 2024 channel to watch or listen. Therefore, appreciate the beauty in the simplicity of everyday life. Be thankful and grateful for everything. Be content with what you have. Focus on what truly matters and seek spiritual richness rather than material wealth as your ultimate goal. Love God, make Him a part of your daily life, and live a godly life. He will provide for you in your time of need. Everything is possible with God. Have faith and believe. Don't let stress, worry, and anxiety overtake you. So tell me, who doesn't want to live a life filled with love and happiness? At the end of the day, there's only so much money that can make you happy. You cannot buy true love and happiness. That's priceless. Thank you for watching or listening. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Just remember, sincerity comes from the heart. So in all sincerity, from my heart to yours, God bless you.